Because I know Ben said that we may not, if I can handle everything.
Um, Here's the thing though, like we have thousands of leads in there, right? Now, obviously, you can't call 1,000 people in a day. Um, Ideally, I do want to bring on another one because number one, that's gonna motivate you to work harder and to perform better. Because right now you're comfortable. Not saying it's a bad thing, but having
Yeah, I
a
get what you mean.
competition, being the example, and showing, setting the example is gonna put you in a better position. It's gonna put you in a leadership position in a way, and it's gonna get you to a place where you get to help the new setter coming in to do exactly what you're doing. Because so far, everything that you're doing as a setter is making sense. Is you're doing everything right. Like if I had any complaints about it, I told you. So that's what I expect, right?
Hmm.
Now, possibly, sorry, possibly sometime this week or next week, we might just bring on another setter. And mainly it's for your own development.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So the way these calls usually go, I mean, it's gonna be either like mock calls, objection handling, or just kind of like having a better understanding like what systems or what can we improve overall. Okay. So let's get started. By the way, just to kind of introduce you guys a little bit better, Ariel works with me at Dermis. She's kind of like a hybrid closer right now. She's
Hi.
self-setting
What's
and
up?
herself. And Andy is working with me on another e-commerce offer. He is my setter, but at the same time, he is also my student who I'm teaching and training him to become a beast of a closer. Very, very soon. He already butchered a whole ass call yesterday. But it's okay. We don't talk about that. You learn from it. Okay. I could have, like, I was in the call. I could have jumped and fixed it, but I think it's a better lesson if you mess it up and you
It's
feel
okay.
it.
My call today was not good. So,
And, and we're always gonna have those calls, right? Like at this point, what, like, if I'm allowed to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys, I don't think I'm perfect. Like nobody is perfect. Okay. Like sometimes I'm gonna butcher my calls too. Like there are gonna be instances like that. So I don't want you guys to see me as someone perfect, but obviously someone who has taken hundreds of calls. I don't think I've reached 1,000 yet, but definitely hundreds of calls. Um, who probably has a lot more experience than you guys may have, right? So with that being said, number one thing, just a little quick feedback, Ariel. When someone tells you, "Oh yeah, I only have 20 minutes," right? Like, look, first and foremost, this is gonna be like a closing call. If it's just 20 minutes, what you can do is you can just take that as a triage call, just to make sure that they qualify and there is pain, and schedule a follow-up call to dive deeper into the actual solution, right? Because that, like, 20 minutes, you should never pitch someone 20 minutes. You can,
yeah.
like,
I felt like I was like, rushing, and then she's like, "Well," she was like, I was trying to explain it, but also being so like, "What do you feel about like when this happens? Like, how does that make you feel?" And she's like, "I just want to like," she's like, "Just what is it?" And I'm like, "Okay." Like, I feel like I can't even like,
yeah, because when they're like, "Oh, just what is it?" Right? Like they're taking control of the conversation and you don't have any power, and they're just gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, I'll just think about it." Like, it just it's like a, like, holding the frame. It's kind of like whoever has the authority in the call. You have to understand, and like, I'm not saying you have to be cocky, but you have to be confident enough to understand that they are in the call because they need your help in some sort of way.
yeah,
Like you can bring your Fathom in if you want, or I can share this with you after the call. Okay?
bring my fathom in. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told you how to do that already. Just copy the link of this and then just paste it. Nonetheless, like if they're on the call, they need help. Otherwise, like why would you hop on a call if you don't need help, right? Like
Yeah.
even and those, like, and I'm glad that you actually were able to experience that situation because that is like a type personality type of guy, like the ones who
Mhm.
are very assertive, the ones who, take lead and like that type of person. Okay. So with these type of people, you have to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more authoritative with them. So the way that I would is, look, I totally understand that you only have 20 minutes, to just take this call, but we do have a process here. And in order for me to give you the most amount of value and make sure that this call is as productive for you as it is for me, I would need a little bit more time. Okay. Now, if you have to go in 20 minutes, I can just do a little brief, kind of introduction, get to know you a little bit better, and then we can schedule a little bit longer call. So just to see if it makes sense by the end of the 20 minutes. So what you're gonna do within those 20 minutes is you're just doing discovery and you're diagnosing their problem, right? Just like a doctor, you're discovering, diagnosing it, right? So first and foremost, my name's Ariel, one of the executives here in Dermis. The purpose of this call today is to see if we can help you. Not even sure we can do it yet. Okay. So in order for me to do that, I need to get to know you and your business a little bit better. So do you mind telling me a little bit more about your situation, right? How long have you had your clinic? Like what's going on in the business, what you're looking for, what's been the biggest struggle, and what kind of solution are you hoping to get by working with us? Take that note if you want. What kind of solution are you hoping to get from us by working with us, right? Same thing with e-commerce offer. What kind of desire, like that's a little bit more like results based, like what kind of desired result are you looking to get by working with us, right? Like what are you looking to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Usually in order for us to sell our product much better, we have to understand the prospect. We have to put ourselves in their shoes. We have to understand like what are they experiencing, or what are some of the common issues they have been experiencing in order for them to even need our service in the first place. For Derma specifically, it's a SaaS company, it's a software as a service, and they need better systems in their business in order to save them time and in order to increase their revenue, right? They don't have to manually be doing X, Y, and Z, et cetera, et cetera. So when you do implement that system in the business, what is going to happen is you're going to increase retention, lifetime value, average customer order, right? Average order value. So instead of them just paying like that monthly fee and getting the same treatment every month, you get to build a relationship with the clients. You get to get them better results because they're coming month after month. And eventually you get to introduce them to new and other services that are relatable to what their situation is and get to upsell them so they can get better results over time, right? So that is usually the desired result, right?
Yeah.
The issues they're facing right now, have a better understanding of what general issues you should be looking for, what general pain points you should be looking for, and ask them like, what is your usual pain points, or like what's been the biggest struggle for you and your business right now? Like usually it's lack of retention, one-off clients, no monthly recurring revenue, right? A lot of money dumped into marketing because they're always chasing that next client instead of keeping their current client, providing them with a good long-term service, getting them results, and having them do the marketing for you by referring their friends. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, obviously you go into like, what have you tried in the past to solve this issue? Why did it not work out? What are you looking to get out of this service that we have in order, like, what would be the ideal scenario, like the dream state, the desired phase in the next 6 to 12 months, right? And what would that do to you? Like, what's the consequence of you getting that desired state? Like, would that, I guess better systems, it gives you better freedom, more time, right? More time to what? To spend with your family. You don't have to be physically present here and there. You can just manage, everything that happens, more predictable income, X, Y, and Z, right? So now they have that dream state picture in mind, right? I guess what happens if you don't do anything about it? What happens if you continue doing what you're doing right now? What happens if you, continue to chase the clients? Are you going to be able to get to that result? Well, obviously not, right? So who do we have to start thinking about, like thinking like, in order to get those results that we want, right? And then obviously go through the whole pitch, introduce them the app, introduce them, what are the benefits, like how that can make their life a lot easier, because people don't care about what you think. People care about like how this can help me, right? How this can help them. And then like during the close, and this is like up to you guys, like how you would like to close, but like the way that I like to close is like, okay, so based off everything that we went through so far, first and foremost, do you feel like this could even be helpful for you, right? Like, is this what you're looking for? Yes, cool. Pretty much just like, I just ask where should we go from here, right? And then like drop the price, and then objection handle if there is any, okay? Pretty much the main idea. Now, and same thing, right? For yourself, especially when it comes to DM sets, understand, they come into the DMs or you start a conversation, whatever the case is, right? They're interested in the service, they're interested in learning ecom. Cool. What is your current situation? Are you working? Are you studying? Like, what is your current financial situation? Who's taking care of your living expenses? It's really important, right? I don't work. Okay, who's sponsoring your studies? Whatever. Echo on your end, Ariel.
Pardon?
I just heard some echo. No, we're good now. So,
I'll be.
yeah, thank you. So, what is like your current situation looking like? Are you having income? This, and that, right? Okay, now you understand the current situation. What have you done so far to learn e-commerce? What have you done so far? What stopped you from taking action, right? Same idea, what's your desired state, and your goal is to sell the meeting, right? So if they qualify financially, if they have money set aside to make an investment, and if they're willing to change their life, then like, look, I can have you have a conversation with Lin Kai where he can explain you the whole program and how we can help you get there, right? Send them the link, find the time, book them in, and especially during setting, because I know a lot, like everybody here does setting, so especially during setting, it's kind of like dating, okay? You set them. Ideally, you want to set them for next day, okay? Like you meet someone, like the next day you go on the date. Like it's much better because it's still fresh. The lead is still warm, okay? But if you set for a couple weeks after, or next week or next month, chances are they're probably gonna forget if you don't continuously, have this nurturing process in place, right?
What does that kind of look like, nurturing, like if they book 5 days in advance?
So it's just like, like during those 5 days, like the next day be like, hey bro, it was nice talking to you, or it was good to have a conversation. Here are some resources you can check. This is, this latest video or testimonial, case study, whatever the case is, and just have a conversation with them throughout the time until the meeting. So they're like, the day before, you're like, hey, just to remind you, we still got that meeting going on tomorrow. Are we still good to go? Yeah, cool, great, right? Because Ariel, let me ask you this, okay? What are the chances of a guy asking you out a month from now? He doesn't talk to you for a whole month, and you still remember?
Yeah, probably no.
Exactly.
I feel like I'd forget. I mean, I'm a very forgetful person to begin with, so I'd probably be like, oh, I didn't even know we had something planned.
So why would that be any different with the lead for the appointment, right? So it's like, I'm not saying you have to talk to them every single day, but if they're booked for about a week or 2 weeks in advance, within the time frame, like every 2 days or every 3 days, kind of send them something and keep communication alive up until the point of the meeting so that it makes sense. They remember to show up to the meeting. They remember what the meeting is about, right? That's the main thing. That's why I don't like to set clients like over a week in advance. Like even a week is too much. Like what I have for my own personal calendar and what I feel like you guys should do as well is 3 to 4 days max out. Ideally the next day. If the next day is fully booked, then great job from the setters and from your self sets the following day. So the following 2 days. If 2 days are fully booked, following 3 days. More than that, It's possible, but like time kills deals. The longer you stay without, the longer you delay things, the less likely someone is to do something. You know? So that's one thing. Jimmy, I just want to say you are doing fantastic, always grabbing bites. You're doing fantastic, especially when it comes to setting. I guess it's just up to us closers to start really closing those deals. I feel like one of the main concerns, especially when it comes to the closing side of things, is just mainly the financial issue. So in order to tackle the financial issue, two ways. Number one, give them options of financing. It's fine, right? Like we figure out some way of financing. In the US, we have credit scores to make sure that they qualify for the financing. In the UK, I'm not too sure how they qualify them for the financing. Maybe they have credit scores, whatever the case, they have it right there. But we do have now available two options for financing. And I've only been able to figure out because it's not a recurring payment, it's a one-off payment. So that's going to be the PIFs. So 7K PIF for 1 year. I'm going to have two forms of payment, Klarna and Billy. Buy now, pay later. If they qualify, they get to be able to start with $0 down today, and they can choose a payment plan that works best for them. 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months, right? Now, obviously, they need to understand that those payment plans do come with an interest, but at least they don't have to pay nothing today. And they have their app ready in 30 days before they have to pay their first installment, and they already get to start making money from there. Now, a really good hack. Let me just take this sip of water because I'm very thirsty. But a really good hack, a quote unquote hack, to tell them like the way that they can avoid those long-term interest is Klarna does allow you to pay off the whole entire balance earlier. So if you do, like, let's just say, you have a 12-month plan or like a 24-month plan, right? And you take 5 months and you already made enough money to pay off the rest, you can pay off the rest, and the interest that has been accrued was only for the 5 months that you had to split it. Okay, I have to make sure about that. Yeah, give me a second. Let me ask ChatGPT. Does Klarna charge interest if you Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to figure that out because if that's the case, that just makes everything. Pay over time, interest accrued only on outstanding balance when the day you make the purchase until the day you pay it off. If you pay the full balance in 4 months instead of using the full 12, you only pay interest for those 4 months, not for the remaining 8 months you didn't use. Pay off the full anytime without penalty. Okay. So that works. I just had the confirmation. So if you pay off your balance earlier, you don't have to pay the interest for the remaining months. So what you can tell them in order to help them sell it is like, look, if we're able or when we're able to implement the system into your business and you're able to make all the money that you need in order to pay off the full balance, then you only pay the amount of interest for the time that you had to, instead of just waiting the 12 months. Make sense? That's for you, Ariel. But yeah. Same thing with, like our e-com offer. We have fan bases, we have Klarna. They just have to get approved. So that's the number one, like, money issue, right? We have to build enough value so that they understand that whatever they invest in it's gonna be worth it for them in the long run, right? The way we build value is like how this can save them time, recurrent revenue, this, and that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then obviously, you know, the last thing, right? It's usually like a fear-based objection, right? They're scared that this may not work. They're scared that if they make that investment, it's gonna be, maybe it doesn't really pay out, right? So let me go ahead and share a document that I created while I was flying back to California. And I feel like it's super, super powerful. So, Ariel, have you had time to look at the document?
Where would it have been?
Hmm?
Is it the objection document?
Yeah, the closer training. Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken a look at it.
Okay. So obviously this one I made it specifically for Dermis. However, this can be implemented into e-commerce offer or any other offer you guys are doing. Okay. And like me creating this, it was like kind of a mix. Like it was really good because, you know, like I learned a lot from Johnny Mao. I don't know if you guys know Johnny Mao, but like the way that he sells, like really identity selling, right? Because what is at the end of the day, like what is sales? Sales, like I want to hear from you guys before I give the answer. Ariel, you first. What is sales?
Sales is just, it's selling somebody a product or service that they might need or want.
If you can define service with one word, what would it be?
Service when helping.
Okay, Andy, what about you?
I would say trying to
One
find a
word.
solution.
One word.
Oh, one word, help.
Help. Okay, Jimmy, what about you?
Can I put a hyphen between two words? You consider that one word?
Sure.
Energy transfer.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like. I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but yeah, sales, energy transfer. It's about, for me personally. Okay, I'm hearing some echoes. Okay, yeah, thank you. So, sales is change. Sales is transformation. That's how I would define sales, right? You're changing someone's perspective. You're transforming their lives. You're giving them a different point of view and having them walk a different path from what they have been so far up until the point of the call, right? So identity selling, right? The reason why people make decisions the way they do is because of the bias and beliefs and experiences they have had in the past. Okay. Now, in order for them to become a new version of themselves, in order for them to make change and see change in their future, they have to start acting differently, they have to start thinking differently, and they have to start behaving differently, because that's how you can change, right? You want to become the best version of yourself, start acting like that person, and eventually you'll become that person, right? So, without further ado, we go straight into objection handling playbook, okay? I need to talk to my business partner, right? Now, is this a real objection? Well, in my opinion, no, not really. Sometimes people need to make decisions together, but at the end of the day, we have to understand one thing. It's kind of a smokescreen, right? Now, we go into the root of this objection. Why do they need to talk to a business partner? Why? Give me answers, guys.
To see if it's something that they both think will work for their business
Okay,
or see the value in it.
Jimmy?
They don't believe that they can do it alone. So they need that reassurance, that validation that, you know what, I think I can do it.
Good, good. Andy?
They're not like confident enough to make the decision on their own, kind of what Jimmy was saying.
Yeah. Ultimately, if you go into the root of the cause of why they need to speak to a business partner, is because a lot of times these people don't want to take the full accountability of that decision. Because making that decision is tough. It takes a lot of responsibility, it takes a lot of burden. And especially if that decision is not the right decision, then guess what? They get to keep all the accountability and the blame of making that quote unquote wrong decision, right? So they have to make these decisions together, because in case that this is not the right decision, then at least they don't have the full responsibility, right? So in here is just pretty much like how you would want to handle it. But if we go deeper into the root cause of it, you have to ask them whose responsibility it is to do X, Y, and Z, to grow this business, right? For business opportunities, when they have to talk to their partner, whose responsibility it is to learn the skills and make that money for their family. Is it your responsibility or is it your partner's responsibility, right? So there's this sentence that Johnny Mao says, and it really does make sense. It's like, heavy is on the head that wears the crown. I think I'm not sure how that goes, but I think that's how it goes. And it's not necessarily heavy because of the gold and silver and the diamonds, etc. It's because of the responsibility and the burden that it takes to wear the crown, right? That comes with it. So the way that you usually handle this is totally understand where you're coming from, and I respect the partnership that you have, right? So you validate the relationship and you disarm them. You want to make sure that they feel understood first and foremost. You want to isolate the obsession. Like when you speak to your partner, right? Or partner aside, would you do this personally? Like in your own opinion, would you do it? Right? Like partner aside, just set that aside, right? Or you're kind of like digging into the real objection. When you speak to your partner, what's the one thing that they need to hear to say yes or no, right? Or other than speaking with your business partner, what's holding you back from moving forward? Okay. Challenge the dynamic. If this was 100% your business or your decision, would you personally move forward? And if they say yes, why would you? Or if they say no, then why do you need to talk? You can just say no, right? Now you reframe the ownership, right? So who holds the accountability to fix this issue? If it's both of you, why are you the only one here, right? So just to kind of like I said, just kind of reiterating it, the reason why they want to speak to someone else is because they want to defer responsibility into someone else, okay? Quality avoidance, right? If solving this issue was truly important to them, wouldn't they be on this call with you? Why are you here? Why are you here? Sorry, why are you here instead? Right? Taking the lead and responsibility and to ask and look for help. Then you go into the identity reframe. Okay, so now you offer them two like binary personas, two versions of business owners, and obviously they want to identify with the version who is successful, right? So do you want to keep being someone who deferred tough calls or step into a role of a leader that your business needs right now? The reason why we're on this call and you're making decisions the way you do is because you're not taking ownership and accountability to the business success and relying on someone else to do that action for you. What happens if you continue relying on others to make tough calls and not take accountability, right? So now we're kind of like switching into a place where like, are you a leader or are you a follower? Like, what kind of leader are you? What kind of leader does the business needs right now? Okay, someone who leads, take actions, and make the calls even when things get hard, or like, are you a leader or follower, right? What would a leader do right here, right now, to put their business in the best position possible, so that in the next 6 to 12 months, the business is on track to hitting the numbers that you mentioned previously, right? Would that leader make them comfortable decision and take ownership and accountability of the business success, or would that leader put their responsibility on someone else instead, right? Yeah, so if they say, oh, I get what you're saying, it's a mutual decision, right? But anyways, this is just kind of repetitive in this part. Yeah. So you just ask them, like, what would a business owner who is a leader do in this situation to put their business in the best position possible in the next 6 to 12 months? They'll make a decision right now. Okay, so what do you think you should do, right? So you just want to make them feel like a successful person would take the actions this way, and you have to ask them, like, are you willing to step on the shoes of that person? Because you're not there yet. Okay, so it's a little bit tough, but you're challenging the prospect here. Okay. No worries. See you later.
Bye. Thank you.
No worries. And you can end with a soft close. Let's take action by securing your spot with a deposit and kind of move from there. Okay. With the money, right? The money objection. Now, the money objection comes in two different ways. It's either logistical or it's just fear. Usually either one of those. Because if they don't have money at all, then it's a setting issue. They shouldn't even be on this call. Okay, so if they have like $0, no credit, nothing available, we can help them. So they should just be disqualified. But when they are a little bit concerned about the money, it's either they're just money-based thinking versus results-based thinking, right? Like the way that you make them see results-based thinking is like, look, when you make this investment in the next 6 to 12 months, you're gonna be making this amount of money. Like, would that be worth the return on your investment, right? Or when they say they don't have the money right now, it's like, do you currently like have the full investment and you're just a little bit scared to make that? You have some of the investment and we have to figure out a logistical way to fit in within your budget, or you have none of the investment and we have to rob a bank, right? So it's either one of those. But yeah, is there any questions so far?
I don't like what you just said. They're on money-based thinking and not results-based thinking. That's kind of what Leon was thinking about.
Yeah, of course. And it comes like you have to understand like why do people think about it that way, right? Like what's the root cause of it? It comes from a scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
Right? Because at the end of the day, like once they understand that money is just a tool so that you can use to acquire the skills to make more money, it makes a lot more sense than, oh, I worked so hard for this money and I exchanged so much of my time for it. And the reason why you exchange so much of your time for it because you don't have the skills to get paid more for the same amount of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're paying money to get those exact skills so that you can make more money with less time, essentially.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No particular. Oh, shit. No particular question. It's just that after hearing about what were the disarm and validate, isolate objection? There was like two other steps I think you mentioned, like kind of identity framing.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I'll go look from the document as well, but I want to
yeah,
write it down.
so first you validate, you disarm them, you isolate the objection, you reframe the ownership, right? The way that you reframe the ownership is like who holds the responsibility to do this? Like who is responsible to fixing this? Is it you or is it someone else? And if it's someone else, why are you on the call? Right? It's like, or if it's both your responsibility, why aren't you both in the call? Does that mean that you care more about it? Or ultimately you're the decision maker? Right? When you reframe the ownership of the responsibility, it makes them think like, okay, like whose responsibility is to fix this? If it's mine, why can't I make the decision, right? And it's both of our responsibility. Okay, then why aren't both of you guys in the call, and why are you here instead? Just to make them.
So that's reframing the ownership, but that step is mainly if it's a partner objection. After that is then the binary identity.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the identity reframe, right? So the binary persona. You can tell them there's two kind of people in this world. One who always rely on other people to make those types of decisions, and they never take accountability for anything that they do or say. And there is the other person who makes the tough calls and they take accountability and responsibility for the decisions they make in order to put themselves, their family, their business in the best position possible, right? Because I'm sure you have the best intentions at heart. It seems like the reason why they are looking to talk to a partner is they just need reassurance. They just need some sort of reassurance, making sure that that is the right call to make, right? Just ask them, like, do you feel like this is the right call to make personally? Do you feel like it is? Why are you second guessing yourself, right? Reason why, like, they have to talk to someone else, they're just scared that this might not be the right call, or they just don't trust themselves to make that call. Because if they did, they would have done it. So now you have to go a little bit deeper into, okay, where is this lack of self-trust comes from? Do you see how, like, it's so much more than just, oh, I just need to talk to a partner? Now you understand that, like, when people need to talk to their partner, they need reassurance, and sometimes, like, they don't trust themselves to make the decisions like this. Why? Because maybe they made a decision like this in the past and it bit them in the ass. So now they have to make decisions with other people, right? But yeah, ultimately, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with way too much information. Those are pretty much the main objections. And once you understand the root cause of the objection and the limiting beliefs underneath them, you're able to help them reframe it and get it going. Cool? Any questions? Are we ready to crush the day?
Yep.
I mean, it's been crushing it already, so I'm almost about to clock out.
Sounds good. Yeah, you're doing great, Jimmy. Let us know if you need anything. Like I said, right now we're increasing the ad spend, so we should have more leads coming in.
Yeah, they're coming in for sure.
Yeah, like, are you able to use Dial.io? Is everything working just fine?
Not quite yet. I'm still running off my phone. My long story. I think I mentioned a little bit about the whole laptop situation, and I was working with with Desjardins, sorry, an insurance company, and the laptop is still it got rebooted or something, and now I can't log into it. So I had to contact their technical merchandising department and figure it out to take out all the security. So right now everything I'm doing on the phone, and because of the sake of the lack of leads per se, I'm able to get in touch with everyone. So it's not really a dire need at the moment, from what
Yep.
I'm seeing. But I am within the week. I should like within the end of this week. I should be getting an answer on the laptop. Worst case scenario, I have to send it in and come back and have everything wiped out. But yeah,
Sounds good.
we're working on it.
All right. I'll see you guys on the next call. Appreciate everyone for being here, and let's crush the day.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Take care.